must always be working on your craft no matter what is going on within your life. I think that throughout my journey, throughout the course of time, I think me being able to find purpose or a genuine fulfillment in life outside of extracurriculars, if it was vices, women, whatever the case may be, I think me being able to look forward to each and every day in the pursuit of me getting better, I think has been the most rewarding and the most fulfilling things I've ever done in my life. The moment I poured into myself, the moment I the moment I not only poured into myself, but the moment I understood that, hey, like I need to get better at this, I need to get better at that, and acknowledging that, I think that's where my life changed for the greater good. I think that a lot of the time when we get caught up in who's doing this, who's doing that, who's doing this, who's doing that, I think we get to a point in time where it's like enough is enough and I just need to change. And sometimes you changing may be in a minor way or a significant way. It just depends on how fed up you are with whatever it is that you're doing. And once you have that epiphany and you have that realization that, all right, I know I need to stop doing X, Y, and Z, is when you kind of fall in this deep rabbit hole of personal development. And I'm sure you guys have heard this online. And it's a cliche saying, but it's so true. The more money, the more time, the more energy, the more focus you invest in you, and you invest in your craft and invest in whatever endeavor that you want to pursue and really take to the fucking moon, I think is one of the not only the most fulfilling but also the most impactful. Once you realize the effect that you have on people, certain circumstances, certain opportunities, it gets to a point in time where it's like, yo, like this shit is starting to pay off. Now you may not see this tomorrow, you may not see it next week, you may not see it next month, you may not even see it next year. But when you have the realization that, hey, I know I'm getting better, I know I'm going in the right direction, and you have a clear vision, you can't shit stop you. Now during this time, there will be distractions, whether it's um, your circle of influence, girls, vices, drinking, alcohol, all this shit will start to have a dwindling effect. But it must be up to you to be able to control that shit. And yeah, I've had my points in time where I got derailed and I got thrown off course. Yes, I will admit it. But I had to snap back into it. Like, all right, that's just not adding any value to my life. I need to get better. I need to focus on my craft. I need to focus on the things that were able to get me to this point to do the things that I'm able to do today. So I have to continue to double down, going out meeting people, going out working on my craft, in the performer, learning the models, learning the concepts, understanding different scopes of work, all this real estate shit, all this terminology, all this shit is a constant evolution. There's never gonna be an end point for me. And it never should be an end point for you. I think that you should always be striving in the right direction. There's always room for improvement no matter what endeavor it is that you're doing. Whether it's you personally, whether it's your work, whether it's being in better in relationships, whether it's being better to people, whatever it may encompass, you have to always be working. And I think that the highest return on investment is not necessarily the money itself, it's the person you become in order to get the money, in order to get all the other things that come with you just being you and being the best version of you. I think that a lot of times people get everything misconstrued with like money and doing this, doing that. Like chasing money it honestly has more of a detriment than it does have a positive impact. And I think a lot of the time when you're constantly chasing something, it tends to run away. And what you must realize is that money is nothing but a sheet of paper with dead presidents on it. So the moment you take money off a pedestal, you realize you just take it for what it is. And once you realize that money really has no intrinsic value. It's the people in society that put so much value on it. Now, the moment you realize money's not shit is when you realize, like, the moment you work so hard on you, money will just become a byproduct. You start helping people. The more people you help, the more money you'll make. And I think having a positive impact on people's lives and knowing what the greater good is, I think that is something that I truly like and enjoy doing. Like, these videos don't really seem like work to me. It's just really a way for me to get better, talking in front of a camera, working on using certain phrases in certain situations, and using certain acronyms or whatnot to kind of be able to convey my message in a short, concise manner. But at the end of the day, it gets to a point in time where I've had different phases in my life where, like, I felt like everything was just going right. Everything was working out in my favor, as it always does. But it was getting to a point where I would start to coast. I didn't I didn't wake up as early as I should have. I didn't do the things that got me to where I was at, like on a consistent basis. Maybe I would do it 3, 4 times out of the week instead of all 7. So these little things just made my armor weaker, just chinking the armor, chinking the armor, chinking the armor. And once I realized, like, I just gotta commit to this shit to the day I die, is when I realized, like, yeah, it can be challenging, but at the same time, it's definitely fun and rewarding. And once you realize that the work you put in, you'll be able to reap the benefit on the back end, and you'll be proud of you being able to put in the work in to be able to get to this point in time where you can say, like, hey, like, I can go on vacation, I can relax a little bit, or oh, I can go take the day off and I can do whatever I want to, or whatever you enjoy doing in your free time. Just being able to have the ability to do that at any given moment is a true sense of freedom. And I do believe that money does buy freedom, but I think a lot of it comes down to who you are as a person, how you carry yourself, and just what kind of lasting impact do you have on people's lives. And I think for me, what I want to do is just help people through either real estate or personal development, and that's partially the reason why I do what I do today. I think within my experience of life, of my 23 years of living, I think that partially the reason why I do real estate is because of the monumental impact it has on people's lives. Being able to give somebody a place they can generally call home, raise a family, be in a safe environment that's closer to better schools, better education, better jobs, better employment, better stores to get better quality foods. I think a lot of this just comes down to my why. And for me, I think there's no better feeling than you seeing the smiles and the vitality in people's spirits and in their eyes. Like, I'm so glad somebody was willing to take a risk on this community and build something nice and of substance, because a lot of the time the communities that I've been able to work in, a lot of the time the communities are shit. They haven't had any new construction or new developments in the last several decades. So for them to see something nice, fresh and clean, like, they have a sincere appreciation towards those things. And I think that's something that money can't buy, is that you were able to provide value to somebody that may not have necessarily seen the struggles that you went through to build it, but they were able to reap the reward on the back end of, like, damn, like, I'm so proud I was able to live in something fresh and new, and I can actually raise my family in, and it's in a safe environment, and I can go get that better job down the street because it pays more, and I can do X, Y, and Z now with my family. I can take a trip once a year, or I can go to better grocery stores because they're 5, 10 minutes away from me. Like, those little things are why I do what I do, but it all comes down to me working on me. I had to learn how to communicate. I had to learn the skills that are required for this industry. I had to learn how to overcome certain, not only myself, but also some of the indulgence of dealing with certain people and all the challenges and all that shit and all the adversity. But I think those little instances that I went through built my character and built me to who I am today. And the fact that I never backed down, the fact that I never said no, and I took every opportunity for me to learn, I think has been able to get me to where I am today. And I will say that aren't a lot of 23-year-olds in my position, but I will say this, that I did put in the work, and I know I did put in the work. And for someone to say that, oh, it got handed to you, is just fucking bullshit. Sure, I may have known some people, maybe there was a little bit of nepotism, but there's also people that I knew that had forms of nepotism too, and they didn't capitalize on the opportunities that we had. We were dealt the same cards, and they didn't capitalize on the opportunities that were given and handed to them. And I think that shows not only my resilience and my character, but also what I'm doing this for and why I'm doing it. I've always wanted to do real estate since I was 18, so I've been in this shit for the last 6 years. 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. It's felt like 6, but yeah, 5 years. And never stopped. Always kept my eye on the ball. Sure, were there distractions? Sure, were there a little bit of hiccups down the road? Yes, absolutely. But I know how to manage them. I know how to maneuver them, and I know how to be able to encompass the things that need to be done on a daily basis. And I hold myself fully accountable for those actions. And the thing is that no one's gonna get the fuck up and push you. You have to push yourself. And that's one of the things that people gripe on is that no one is going to wake the fuck up at that certain time for you. No one's gonna get the fuck up and do the work for you. No one's gonna get the fuck up and go out there and meet those people that you need to meet. No one's gonna get the fuck up and learn the skills that you need to learn for whatever endeavor that you do. You have to do this shit and you have to commit to it 150%. You have to. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're not constantly holding yourself to a high standard and holding yourself to a certain standard that anything outside of this standard you're not doing, then that's where you start getting chinks in your armor, and that's when your character gets flawed, and that's when things just don't necessarily work out the way they should have if you just held yourself to a higher standard. I think a lot of the time when people hold themselves to low standards, it's not only a true testament of what their self-worth is, but also how they view themselves. If you view yourself in a low light, people can recognize that, and you won't get the opportunities as someone that views himself in a high regard and expects nothing less than. And once you realize that all this shit comes from within and how you carry yourself and character, you'll start to realize that all it is just internal work. And what I mean by internal work is having the right mindset, having the right set of habits, having the right set of beliefs, how you talk to yourself, how you view yourself, how do you walk, how do you talk, how do you carry yourself. All these things are a reflection of your internal. And if you're not constantly working on your internal, then the external will never come to fruition. That's why I believe manifestation is real. There were several opportunities, circumstances that I've came across just because I put in the work and worked so hard on me that the opportunities that came and arose, I was already prepared for. Prime example, my first internship. I was literally watching YouTube videos. I was literally listening to a bunch of podcasts, reading a bunch of books. My whole freshman year at college. And at the end of that summer, it just so happened that an opportunity arose, and my parents kind of were able to kind of like bring me up in a certain conversation.